And there you have it, the G1H Dominus tank. And the one thing I could say about this pre-war heavy tank is its tracks sucks. It always had a 80% chance it would break for slight turns, so therefore you can't go crazy on driving this thing. Unless I did some few modification just to fix it a little bit by adding a balloon inside of the tank so it would be less heavy and reducing the stress of the tracks. Although there's still chances that the tracks could break for a sudden. The tank's mobility was bad. Turning speed was slow, and it should be. Since it was a pre-war tank before World War II could ever start, the technology should be at least humble but a little bit advanced at the same time. Like for example, it had a proper drive system that allows it to turn while moving forward, and it had a powerful gun that could penetrate any armor, which is considered advanced back then. But as time goes by, the design was already a bit obsolete when a much more advanced tank appeared in the battlefield that revolutionized the concept of tank combat, such as Blitzkrieg. So therefore, war is a gamble. So enough with the story stuff, and let's go back to the tank itself. The autocannon may have been a bit useful since it has a capability of turning at 360 degrees, but for the gun depression is a different story. In some other angles, it could look down at negative 12 degrees, which is fine, but when it passed at the main turret, it could only look down at negative 3 degrees of gun depression, so therefore there's a chance of friendly fire or seppuku. And forgot to mention that its autocannon only had a power of ×1, so it's really weak. And for the main gun, it shoots a 2.10 projectile with a power of ×8. I could really go for 10, but it would ruin the immersion, so that's why I keep it at 8. And also, I added a 4-second delay, so I can't really spam fire this thing, which simulate a gun reloading. Although in reality, it would actually take more than 12 seconds to reload it because it is a big gun after all. But 4 seconds will be good enough since this is Besiege. Reality is just an option here. And how about the armor? It's meh, it's not good, but who really cares? Just like I said, in Besiege, reality is just an option. How about playability? It has a 782 blocks, so it's obviously very laggy, but I think it's still playable somewhere at 30% down to 25% time skill, so it's very slow. But you could at least play it on some other vanilla level since it really fits in the build zone. So that's all I could say about the tank, and since we're done with the demo, it's time for me to go and see you in the next video. Bye bye!